morning, everyone. This is the beginning of a very interesting chapter. One of my absolute dreams is to show you guys the approachability of fashion. 10 years ago, I got to walk in the most amazing fashion show. His name's Charles Liu, and you might recognize that name from Next in Fashion.
This is fantastic.
I love this one.
It's like Matrix Lady.
And Charles reached out to me. They are going to be doing a show in Toronto, and it's almost like that manifestation journey of me putting this out here, really wanting to do this, really wanting to go behind the scenes, booking tickets to go to New York in September for New York Fashion Week and just trying to figure it out. And I'm gonna get to do this so much sooner. So today we're doing a little sit down chat interview. I'm gonna be talking about his new line. He's got a show, and I'm gonna take you behind the scenes. So this is the beginning of that journey. So if you would like to learn more about fashion on the high end and the way that shows work and going behind the scenes, just keep watching.
The title of the collection is called One, and it's Fresh Start. Like everything else doesn't even matter. It's just this one moment now, and it's from here onwards that I'm paying attention.
Just finished our interview. It was so good. He opened up so much. I'm going to actually make the entire interview a podcast episode. I'll just take a couple of the bits of it, and he's gonna now show me some bits of the collection. And I'm excited because these are moments where you can feel yourself coming out of this little hole. When I was making that transition from working at the Weather Network and loving broadcasting, and also being passionate about weather, but I'm the most passionate about art and design and this world of, wearing things that just make you feel something. I just feel like I am taking my small little world of comparison and self-doubt, and I am exploding it right wide open. And that feels so good. It's like coming home to who you were always meant to be and opening that world back up. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I've just arrived behind the scenes. This is where all of Charles' outfits are. So I'll show you a little bit. Dom gave us the little rundown of all these bits. So Dom, can you show me around what is going on here? You obviously had so much to pull in this morning.
Yes. So we just organized all of the looks. So we have everything labeled now. So each one has a picture of the model, and then has their accessories, their shoes with the garments, and then the garments themselves. And we organize it by look. So we have 1, 2, 3, obviously in chronological order, making sure there is space. So for example, corsets, big stuff like this, they have the room. But then also for our bigger pieces that drag are on the floor, that there's covering.
Oh wow.
We don't have anything dirty.
Everything crisp until it goes down the runway, then it's all hats off.
Yes.
They also strategically lay the coats like this so they stay nice and puffy, and just everything is lined up. It's just so cool that every model has their own look all lined up. And we were just talking to Liam, so here's a little clip of that.
What we can do, me and Calder were talking about some things. Maybe we can talk to Charles about what would be the best thing. The model comes out to the end of the runway, essentially end of the runway, and rotating lights with music, build up, and then what do you want the action to be?
He is basically organizing, making sure everything goes off without a hitch when it comes to hair and makeup, because all the models will be arriving at a certain time, and all the shows obviously have certain times where they need to be in chairs. So I'm gonna take you down that floor too. Charles is also officially here, but he's hiding in the corner for the brief moment that he has by himself without a bunch of lights all on him. People also came through just to give him a little interview, which was so cool. Everyone here is so nice.
Thank you.
So this is your collection for today?
This is my collection I'm showing. I've been working on it for about about just under 2 years.
I'm gonna give him a second, and then we're gonna ask him some questions after that. What are your emotions right now about it?
A lot.
Yeah.
To figure out. There's so much happening. How do I think I'll feel when my garments come down the runway with my name on it? It hasn't happened since 10 years ago. It's something that people don't realize as a designer. You don't see your shows ever. You're backstage. I've never seen one of my fashion shows.
Music is gonna start and there's gonna be an exact moment, which will be Pies, where she'll come out.
I'm constantly creating into the last moment. And then I realize it's like a kind of selfless thing. It's like for everyone else to enjoy. Once it's out, and then you're on to the next thing. It will be emotional, I think. So caught up with pre-show stuff that I don't even think I'm allowing myself to think that. Because I'm biting little pieces of what I can handle right now.
So I had to take off my wool jacket because it is absolutely so steamy up here, and I'm going to show you why. Because there are so many people up here doing hair, doing makeup, and it is like the chaos before the calm of the show. Officially made it to the 4th floor, which means we're at hair and makeup. So this is where all the models are coming before the show, before they obviously even see their outfits. Some of them haven't even seen their outfits, but likely they would have had the pre-try on. And then they all go up there just like I showed you before, and then they have their picture and their name and their full outfit there. So let's see the back behind the scenes. This is how we make Fashion Week accessible. Show. Yes. What are your feelings right now?
I am so excited to be walking for Charles Liu. His collection just sounds so incredible. It celebrates just the strength of women, and I cannot wait to channel that in the walk. I'm so excited.
Oh, killing it. So this whole video is to make fashion more accessible to people. What would be your advice for someone who wants to get into modeling?
Into modeling? Honestly, I mean, events like Fashion Art Toronto are a great way to meet new people and network with designers and makeup artists, like other models. So I think this event is one amazing way. And again, like so accepting of all body types, of really everyone. So Fashion Art Toronto.
From me one! Yeah, exactly. So designing this hair is always so important to a fashion show. What is the inspiration for what is going on here?
So basically working with the designer for the Charles Liu collection was so much fun. We really wanted to incorporate that kind of metallic, futuristic, elaborate sort of inspiration behind the look. So we really worked together to create the full look for the designer this season. So it was really beautiful just being able to take section by section and create this kind of metallic, futuristic kind of vibe to a really clean, simple ponytail.
The makeup was a last fashion show that I showed, this wing liner, because they told to us that we had to do a wing liner. So I just did it with eyeshadow, without liquid liner, so that's the final result.
So this is so cool. So I'm currently on the actual runway floor. So no one is here yet. Here are all the seats, and that's where everyone is going to be walking. And in each show they have different instructions that I just learned. So the designer will specify, like, do you want them to pause or pose? And Charles has 4 poses in his show, but a lot of the other artists or designers, they're just like doing a walk by. So that means that the photographers will really have to have that shutter on fast so that they can catch the look, and a little model, pose at the end without the actual pose. But it's been so cool. Like, everyone is so nice here, and they're just like all so excited for the show. And FAT, which is Fashion Arts Toronto, is actually a non-for-profit. So everyone's here just like doing their work. It's so cool. All right, my angels. So I am just leaving to grab a little bite to eat. It's just so cool in there. Like, the energy is so high, and you can just tell before Charles's show, there's a show where it features 4 different artists. So that's really cool because it's maybe people who don't have a full line to do a full show, but it's basically just smaller artists who have maybe a smaller collection all working together. So I'm gonna grab a bite and then I will catch up with you then. I'm so hungry. Models. Not a lot to eat up there, I'm not gonna lie. There were some croissants, but I felt bad taking it.
Make up the moment I got here.
Dom will tell you what to do. Time to run through if we can get everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have time. That's
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back here for 30.
Yeah.
We have to talk about model touch-ups as well. It's cute! It's cute! No, it's good. You excited to go? I'm just pointing everything out because I have to personally lace all the models into the corsets. It was produced during COVID, so I didn't have access to zippers. But I also wanted to do a lot of that. So I have to style and make sure everything's okay. That's when my real work starts happening. And then I'm just trying to get the show order because I'm like very specific about the choreo I want. Like very effortless, but very intentional. So I'm trying to stay calm. Highs is starting, so she'll set the pace. It's your last moment, you're posing. So the lights are gonna fade out and it's gonna be completely black. It's gonna here, 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 here. So we're doing 5, 5, 5, 4, right? And then I'm gonna come out and do the whole distance. You guys are facing, so the outer largest area. So you're not posing inwards. Everyone's dressed. The final walkout, you'll have it like this off the shoulder for you specifically. We'll guide you through that.
Yeah,
so final
like
walkout, yeah, like that. Have it completely exposed.
Just the colors, black and white, timeless, always work. And they put me in a little black dress. That's why I wear every day, you know?
Here, very clean line, very close to your head stop. Have we gone through?
Slash, do you want to do it now?
If someone has never seen my brand before, I want them to feel powerful. I want them to have a very firm realization of who I am, because I think at the end of the day, that's what I work so hard for, especially being in fashion for decades now.
Like that. As long as you hit your poses less sweet and more serious.
When you are viewing the collection, you are taking in just not pieces of clothing, but also understanding my journey. The clothing that I create, it carries a lot of memory, it carries a lot of hardship, it carries a lot of triumphs and sadness. And I think I've worked very hard at creating pieces that express moments in time in my life that are representative of the journey I've been through.
Getting everything sorted, and the models are just over there because they're going to do a practice walk because they have so many different spots to do their poses. And Charles was saying in the rundown not to pose with like their hand on their hip, which was so interesting because that can so quickly become awkward or like just basic. So it's so cool just to hear even like the direction of the behind the scenes. So much goes into these shows and they last for such a short period of time for all of the work.
5 in front and 5 on this side, so let's get into the
Stop.
want to make sure that it's like straight. We want straight line. Quick tip. Another quick tip at this end part, it's kind of awkward. I saw a couple of awkward poses. So if you're coming into this last pose, stop here for a second, then do a turn, and then go across. So do something a bit more graceful than that. But if you, instead of like awkwardly going here and then like turning around, make it intentional. Pose here, and then intentionally turn yourself around. This is gonna go. You don't go. You follow. Perfecto.
Oh my god, this is so cute. One of the models, she gets to like stop in front of her people. So I'm gonna turn the camera around, explain. So now they're doing the final walk, and it's basically like where they'll set up for the final moments after they've all actually walked the runway. And then I guess Charles will come out.
The version I see myself in the future is someone who's firmly happy in their own skin.
You feel that walk through?
Oh my gosh, I felt it.
You were thumping your like foot.
Because I felt the music, I felt it all come together. Guys, it's gonna be like...
Who is constantly evolving, and he could look very different, you know? And he could design very different, because I didn't know I would create something like this. And you always leave that room for growth. I think I used to have these manifestations that I would write about myself, and parts of it would actually come true. Like looking back at sheets of paper I used to write, but it would never be exact. So it's better to leave a little room for expression. What's the point of living if you know what's going to happen next? Life is more exciting when you don't know the next step. The last time I've had a fashion show was like 11 years ago, and I was a kid. And it was like, even then, that was a lot to prep for someone that age. Now that I'm, you know, a little bit more experienced, the thing you can expect is me frantic, probably. Because I will see every detail, and I will make sure it's perfect before going out.
Oh, these? Yeah.
So there will be a lot of hustle and bustle. There will be a lot of running around.
Gloves on ex-boyfriend, please.
Setting back hair, setting back makeup, getting the fit right, switching outfits. But you don't see any of that, right? Because that's what people are interested in seeing, actually.
Wow.
It's kind of the flurry that's happening behind the screen.
Oh, it's so much silkier now. Yeah, that's good, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, great. Beautiful.
The design process behind the collection, every designer works very differently. It wasn't very clear in the beginning. I kind of went to my past and I looked inwards to see what was the most relatable, what people liked the most from me, and what I liked from myself. I sort of extracted those moments and I tried to make sense of them. I used to be that person that designed everything, but I think my best design comes from when there's planning, but it's very organic. My favorite quote that Angelo, my partner on Next in Fashion, said to me was, he was like, I was very afraid you'd be very technical and logical. But when I saw you draping on the mannequin, so when you drape fabric to do the patterning, he's like, it was like a dance. I loved how he said that. There's a level of emotional intelligence and kind of a lyrical element I infuse in my clothing.
Yeah. Just let me know for me to adjust. Here, get undressed.
There's nothing I love more than something that's complete and done exactly the way I want it to be done. It's like my studio. I can't work unless it starts off perfect and clean. I know that it needs to get messy. So there's this duality that lives within me, that person who is the artist and that person who needs to start off in a clean space and setting. But I know there's an equilibrium that needs to exist and a symbiotic relationship that needs to exist within these two individuals. People say I'm absolutely a perfectionist, but I always leave room to get messy.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Final thoughts before the show?
Oh my god, I can't. There's so much. I just need to breathe. I think you're good. Yeah, fantastic. Oh my god.
Thank you.
No.
Oh, just out.
This is fine.
There was nothing. And there was everything.
congratulations, that was iconic. And cheers to him. She just got stuck in a city grate. It's like the risk of wearing heels. Oh my god, it was so good. Didn't I tell you like a few of those looks could have been in the Met Gala?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so good.